I've recorded all that, by the way.
Good afternoon, everyone. MSI Music Scene Investigation is on the air, and I'll tell you, it's been an interesting afternoon today. It really has been. I'm going to turn some of these volume faders down so everybody doesn't hear echo on this end. One of the unique things we have the opportunity of doing every week is bringing in a guest panelist on the show with us. This week is probably one of the most interesting weeks we've had so far. We had our regular guest panelist scheduled for today. Terry Christensen was supposed to be here joining us. Unfortunately, he had some technical issues we tried to get fixed before the show, which we were unable to do. So we went out and combed our studio audience and found a music head, Steve Anderson, who's joining us today. So we'll get to him in a minute, let you meet him in just a couple of seconds here. But before we do that, I want to tell everybody a little bit about what MSI is, what we do here. And this is for your benefit as well as Steve's. I think it might be one of the first times that Steve has seen the show with us, if I'm not mistaken. Now, what we do here on MSI is we invite indie artists from around the world to submit music to the site. Then we gather that music and select random selections every week, and we showcase 3 of those songs that have been selected. And we have our industry experts come in and review the music. And we provide reviews that artists can use. It's not a review like you would normally hear or see from places like Billboard Magazine or Rolling Stones. These are actually usually fairly technical in nature, and again, it's a review that an artist can use to hopefully better their music in future. And with all that being said, we strongly invite everyone as an indie artist to submit their music to MSI. We love nothing better than hearing good music from artists like yourselves out in the chat room, and we would appreciate the opportunity to let our experts take a listen to it and provide you with some helpful advice in the way of their review. Now then, let's meet our panelist. Our in-house panelist is Tom Chianti from New York and Ian Husbands from London, England. Let's go to Tom first, find out how he's doing. Tom, the trains are running by your window at regular intervals. How are you today, sir?
On schedule.
On schedule, exactly. And you are on schedule.
Yes, the trains, unfortunately, it's a holiday, so they're longer, larger, louder than normal. Well, it's not a holiday, it's a weekend.
Yeah, that's okay, though. We don't mind that. So everything
it doesn't interfere with my duties to the Honorable MSI.
No, of course not. Nothing would interfere with that, and we appreciate the fact that you're here with us. Thank you very much, Tom. And Ian Husbands, our panelist from jolly old England. How are you, Ian?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just pouring myself a Jim Beam.
You're very jolly, I can tell you this. For some reason, I know that you have an outbreak of chicken pox. The plague. Is that what they call it nowadays?
In true English fashion, it's the plague. Yeah, it's broken out in my house. My son's getting upset when I call him Spotty Kid. I can kind of understand he gets a bit annoyed by that, but you know. So yeah, it's all spotty fun here, really. Luckily, I've had it. Allegedly, you can't have it again. Allegedly, you can as well. So I'm looking forward to an outbreak of spots.
Well, hopefully you get whatever you wish for, whether you wish to have another outbreak or not. I hope you get your wish.
Well, you know, it'll make me feel like a teenager again.
Okay, well, there you are then. Even though your son's not a teenager yet.
No, he's the delicate 4 years old. So
He's getting a jump start on the whole chickenpox thing.
Well, he goes to nursery, and the kids are all dirty and grimy and full of diseases, and my son brings it home. Basically,
Good man.
That's the way it works.
Good man. He shares with the family. Share and share alike is what I say. All right, appreciate that, Ian. Thanks for being with us. Our guest panelist today, I don't know much about you, Steve. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself so not only I and the rest of the panel, but our audience can get to know you a little bit better. Steve Anderson, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, sorry.
You'd make a great addition to our regular cast, I can tell you that.
I'm from the Midwest, Illinois.
Really? I'm from Illinois as well.
What part?
Central Illinois. What part were you from?
Danville.
I know exactly where Danville is.
Home of Dick Van Dyke.
Indeed.
Well,
Bobby
Governor,
Short.
how you doing? Come on, Mary.
Dick Van Dyke, Bobby Short, Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
Gene
Yeah.
Hackman. Ah.
Yes, from Danville. Of course, everybody's mother has a dating story about going out with Gene Hackman or Dick Van Dyke and Jerry Van Dyke.
That's true.
Not my mom, though. She was pure.
So, in other words, she was either too young to have gone out with him or didn't like them.
Well, she was runner-up to Miss Illinois in the beauty pageants, so she was known, but now he was gone. I think he was gone long before. He is older. He is probably by 7 or 8 years even.
Right. So now you grew up in Danville. You're not in Danville now.
Yes, I'm back into town.
You are.
I have an apartment up in St. Paul, Minneapolis, too.
Well, that's what it shows on your Skype profile of St. Paul. That's why I was wondering that.
I haven't changed it back. I have a house here, and then I play on the road, and I know some people up there, and I play up there from time to time in the blues clubs.
Okay, so you're a working musician then.
Well, I'm also a working electrician. I do a little bit of both.
I was gonna say,
I'll work 9 weeks in the trade, electrician, and then I'll work 10 weeks or 11 weeks, hopefully, on the road, with bands and stuff.
yeah, well, you gotta be an electrician if you're going to be a musician these days. Anyway, it kind of seems like.
Well, it's a family thing too.
There you go. You can't get away from the family thing. That's for sure.
No.
So, from a Danville perspective, from a small town perspective, when I say I'm from a small town, I actually grew up in Findlay in Shelbyville, Illinois. I'm sure you've heard of Shelbyville.
Sure.
And so we're both from relatively small towns. Your town's a little bit bigger than mine, but you're small town America. How would you describe the music scene to everybody out there? Because most of our panelists have been from larger cities. So what's
Tough.
Tough, is it?
Tough. It's tough because they don't know. They just they take it for granted. It was weird because when I went to St. Paul to play, I thought, oh, I'm just an average bass player. I'll go up and do some showcasing and go to find out they're starving for good bass players. And I was shocked. Here they take it for granted. They're like, oh yeah, it's just Steve.
It's just Steve.
I guess that's the thing when you really think about it is the small town atmosphere. All the musicians kind of already know each other and have already worked with each other. And when
Peer pressure.
And when you get to a larger city, it seems like there's much more variety. So it's not just Steve anymore. You've got, wow, that's an amazing bass player instead of, well, it's just Steve. We know he's amazing, but
Well,
The
you guys
first
are
thing- the
talking
first thing-
about...
sorry.
go ahead,
Go ahead.
Tom.
Oh, okay. You guys talk about being from a small town. I just want you to know, I grew up in Hicksville, New York.
Yeah. Population?
It's quite a big, several 100,000. It was quite a big...
Okay, then quit talking to us about small towns.
But the name was Hicksville.
It's a name, yeah.
I mean, I grew up in a little suburb of that small town of London. So,
Several million.
Shepherd's Bush.
not far from Shepherd's Bush, to be honest. Not far, about 20-minute drive from Shepherd's Bush up the A40.
Oh,
See, I thought I thought the British had a different time thing than the Americans. I mean, you have kilometers. I figured you didn't have hours and minutes. I didn't know. Could be a military thing. I'm not sure.
Oh,
There would be clicks then.
You've got to remember, we invented it all. We just imported it over to you guys. I mean, after all, I mean, don't forget,
Imported.
you are originally
Solid.
British. You know, you're just a bunch of Britons that revolted. I mean, that's all that you are. So you're revolting Britons, basically.
I have papers on my wall that are in hermetically sealed glass case with acid-free paper showing I had a great-great-great-grandmother from northern England, and they were farmers, but she was a lady in waiting, which, of course, you know, really doesn't mean you wait for the queen. It means you're a landowner. You know, you have a certain status.
Yeah. It was a sort of like a squire to a knight in the sort of lady affair type thing.
I think she was a seamstress.
Yeah,
You know.
from a history perspective, I was just related to the knaves that slung mud.
I mean, you know,
Pavement?
pretty. Neanderthals? What?
And me, of course, being Sicilian, my grandfather was, one of the bangers, I guess you would call them, in the 1800s of Sicily, raiding the little towns and growing up in the 1850s or something.
Tom's an Italian gangbanger.
I've got to read this out from the Now-Nows in the chat. He said, the English think 100 miles is a long way, and the Americans think 100 years is a long time.
That's a very good point. It really is a very good point.
Well, we're 225 years old. You guys are, 800,000 years old?
That's exactly it. And in America, 100 miles is not far at all. So, Steve...
The thing I noticed in America is when I came over is that all the castles you built over there are really small, like in Disneyland and stuff like that. And then you built sort of Disneyland Paris and realised that castles are massive and had to build a massive one in Disneyland Paris. Otherwise, you looked really bizarre.
Well, that's very true. To be honest, Disneyland here in the States, it does have a very small castle. They built it that way. They built it on perspective to make it look much bigger than what it is. So, and we here in the States have no concept of how big a castle's supposed to be anyway, so we just don't care.
That's because we forego...
Well, it's because...
Yeah, just step all over each other. That's fine. It all works. I
The
tell you
show
what,
has
guys.
started off.
Yeah, let's just get to doing what we do and actually go ahead and review some music. What do you say to that? Let's just start doing that kind of thing.
I was going to ask who brought the cards.
Yeah, nobody brought the card. All right, Steve, this is how it works for you and for everybody out there. We're going to go ahead. You'll listen to the music from the music playback page. I'll play it to everybody out in the audience. And then afterwards, we'll start the review. If you've seen the show before, you know how that works. We do a round-robin review. We'll start out with Ian, and then go to Tom, and then yourself during the first round. In the second round, we'll go to Tom, and then we'll go to you, and then we'll end it with Ian. And in the third round, you're going to be put in the hot seat, starting out the reviews at that point.
No, where?
The hot seat, That's what I said, I think. I noticed that after I said it. So the hot seat.
Do we know these people that are doing this? Are these people from iCompositions?
These people are indie artists from all around the world. We don't necessarily know who they are. You may recognize some songs, you might not. It just all depends. And we'll not introduce the name of the song or the artist until after all the reviews have been given.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. Go ahead and start listening to the first song, gentlemen, and we'll go ahead and play it back to everybody out in the audience. Here's song number 1 on today's Music Scene Investigation.
Something like this. Big brown eyes that got me hooked. Killer Heron curves, you had that look. Those early days, I was a fool and almost lost everything that made life cool. Well, if I'm into you and you're into me, two lovebirds hanging out on a swing. She leans now, cause it was meant to be. What a world, what a time, what a ride, what a dream. My friend, my lover, my beauty queen. Love, crazy baby, it's all gravy, gravy. This lovely thing with wings, it means to me everything. Love, crazy baby, it's all perfect hazy. I can't hide my deny that we're still running side by side. Love, crazy baby, love, crazy baby.
There you have song number 1 on today's MSI. So let's go ahead and go to the guys and find out what they thought about it. Ian, what did you think of song number 1?
This impression is that mix was really hot. It was just, everything was just up there and in your face, and there was no space for anything. I mean, there's something going on here. Like the groove, couldn't really make the bass out very well. There was not a lot of clarity in the bass. Found the drums very repetitive, but they sounded good. Tonally, they were quite good. I found the mix overall very dry as well for this sort of mix. I mean, it's very rare we say that on MSI. It's normally that everything's got too much reverb on. But I think this could have benefited from more reverb in places. It was very, very dry and very, very hot. Generally, there's some good performances going on here. I love the sax. Again, that sounded very raspy. I think needs some work on the EQ on that. And the guitars were really well played. Some nice soloing going on there. There's sort of very Santana-esque sort of licks going on behind the vocals, which I really, really liked. But I mean, overall, this sort of left me with a sort of 80s boy band sort of feeling, with a little bit of updating with the sort of heavier guitars and stuff like that. And the vocals I found lyrically and performance-wise were very nondescript. And they weren't sitting in the mix very well. They were very awkwardly sat in the mix. In fact, I think the whole mix was just sitting very awkwardly together. And that needs a lot of attention. This sort of music needs to be much slicker. And this was very raw. It's a good demo. There's something there. That vocalist needs to step up the performance. There was some nice backing vocals going on there. But as I said, the vocals sort of left me sort of meh, whatever. The music, there's something going on, but the mix needs a lot of attention.
All right, appreciate that, Ian. Thank you very much. Let's talk to Tommy, find out what he thought. Tom, what do you think of track number 1?
Well, it's a good, strong demo mix. Everything's there in your face. I think that what Ian is feeling is what I noticed. It's such a conglomeration of different styles coming at you. There's no anchor. It's got a little hip hop, a little pop, a little R&B, a little this and that, all thrown together, which is very hard to do, and they've done a decent job of getting it all together. But there was no driving anchor, nothing that would place the song firmly in one genre or another, or even in the large genre known as other. It's just too scattered. It's like, hey, let's throw a rap in, let's get a sax solo, all these great ideas, done well. But again, not coherent, not no directionality there, and it kept me, going from one groove to another to the poppy sound, and I agree a lot of what Ian had said, but it just definitely lacks a strong theme definition for me. The music and the lyrics and such, nothing really stood out. Standard licks, standard vocals. I think it could be done again better. Cut out some of the overproduction and tone it down to one style. Stick with it, and you've got definitely a better demo, or finally a record. At that point, they need, at this point, I think they need a producer to step in and say, okay, what are you going to be?
Okay, I appreciate that, Tom. Thank you very much. Let's find out what our guest panelist, Steve Anderson, thinks. Steve, what do you think of track number 1?
Well, it's a nice idea. I find it funny that one guy says overproduction, another guy says underproduction. I'm underproduction because I like the homespun thing. I grew up on McCartney's first album. The guitar solos were incredible, actually. The sound, the tone, and the FX of the guitars were really good. Now, I'm not a mixer. I'm a musician. I wish I knew more about engineering like you guys do. But from the standpoint of where I'm coming from as a player on it, more percussion, like Ian said. The drums were repetitive, but maybe some bongos or, they give it that sound of Santana, like you were saying. Genre. Tommy genre doesn't really matter to me. In fact, I'm all about trying to cross the lines. So if he can do that, it's great. But the thing that stood out most for me was the fact that he talked on it, or rapped, and sang. I like that. It could come up more. The bass was non-existent. Being a bass player, that's not a fair statement because I always expect a lot of bass in a mix. True story.
Really?
That's why I went back to string bass because and played it in rock bands because it filled it up like I could play less. But anyway, that's my take on it. I liked the writing, the lyrics. I don't care. I don't lyrically. Anybody that tells you that knows me will tell you lyrically. I just don't care. I write out. I don't have any theme.
All right, Steve, I appreciate your thoughts on that. Thanks a lot, guys. Let me introduce the track to everyone. Track number 1 is from a group called Chrome Specter, and it's called Love Crazy Baby. Love Crazy Baby by Chrome Specter. We appreciate the fact that they sent that in to MSI. Thank you very much. Now, gentlemen, we've got 2 more tracks to take a listen to, so let's go ahead and have you start listening to track number 2 on today's MSI. Here it is, everyone. Enjoy.
I'm seeing red like a sea of roses. These guys ain't real. All I see is poses. I'm about to lose it. These guys guys are really getting confused with the fake guys and who really do shit. It's a hype on the road these days, G. People have to roll with the knife for their safety. Who's to blame for this game of aim and miss? People aim for the fame and end up as fake G. Some say you're not a G if you don't rock Nike, or your trainers don't have a tick or 3 stripes, and they think that they're raw cause they roll at night, but deep down they're not down for the fight, and they think that their gang's more important than schools, and they only go to school to link with the man, then bunk off school cause they think that it's cool, then target innocent people at random. They're wasted talent, some could have been footballers or artists, but they started smoking, taking drugs, violence, promoting thugs on the street cause they thought that they random. It might sound random, but it's all life on the street. People roll with a knife just to eat cause they're hungry. I don't mean feeding their tummy, it's all explained through the mic and the beat. I'm seeing red like a sea of roses. These guys ain't real, all I see is poses. I'm about to lose it. These guys are really getting confused with the fake guys and who really do shit. It's a hype on the road these days, G. People have to roll with the knife for their safety. Who's to blame for this game of aim and miss? People aim for the fame and end up as fake G. It's dark on the road, cuz man trying to move to the light, gotta focus. I can't get left behind like I was racing a Lotus. I've got bearability, I can't just hope for a place. I've gotta win this race. I'm first in the game, when I'm first in the game, gotta make hits as first in the game. Stop man cursing my name, cause I spit fire, man wanna try and bring first in my flame. I just want what I deserve from the game, and it's more like the first in the fame. But I see red like a sea of roses, because pricks wanna try and oppose this. 1 minute, the snakes wanna roll with us, the next minute, they're trying to hold us up. What's going on in this life? This hype, they're knives and guns and knives. See it red like a sea of roses. These guys ain't real, all I see is poses. I'm about to lose it. These guys are really getting confused with the fake guys and who really do shit. It's a hype on the road these days, G. People have to roll with the knife for their safety. Who's to blame for this game of aim and miss? People aim for the fame and end up as fake G.
Up in the streets where you might get moved up, pretty bad bruised up. If you're a loser, I speak the truth, I know lies in my rhymes. Burn up the mic like it's Freddy Krueger. Guys feeling super cause they roll with a shooter. You been drive-bys in a petrol scooter. Ain't got no choice in the end of a flop, in my opinion. That's the life of a loser. If you ain't got the brains to get the grace for the rest of your life, you wanna be a blooper or a painter or a laborer. Them jobs there don't earn you the paper, so fix up. Think what you want in life, or when a nice car to your kids in a sexy white look. I know in life things may seem wrong, but there's nothing stopping you been making them right.
I see it red like a sea of roses. These guys ain't real, all I see is poses. I'm about to lose it. These guys are really getting confused with the fake guys and who really do shit. It's a hype on the road these days, G. People have to roll with the knife for their safety. Who's to blame for this game of aim and miss? People aim for the fame and end up as fake G.
All these Brits are roll want a big reputation. They're killing all our brothers and shooting up our nation. The government don't mind car whenever on the news, cause they want us on the grind in prison. So we waste all of our time. Fuck investigating black on black crime. They'd rather see us die. Ethnic cleansing, youths think about rep before they think about life. Think about the mother whose son just died. Mama comes around, I bet his boys by her side. Now it's better to see those tears in her eyes, and they're coming for you with revenge on their mind. That's the endless cycle, we can't get by. Put the guns down, pick up a pen and just ride. Be a man with your fist, not a boy with a knife. The only thing that's proven is the moles on time.
I'm seeing red like a sea of roses. These guys ain't real, all I see is poses. I'm about to lose it. These guys are really getting confused with the fake guys and who really do shit. It's a hype on the road these days, G. People have to roll with a knife for their safety. Who's to blame for this game of aim and miss? People aim for the fame and end up as fake G's.
There you have song number 2 on today's MSI. So let's go ahead and go to Tommy first, find out what he thought on it. Tommy, your thoughts?
On this one, it had a strong directionality. I like the mixture of the Celtic-like background with the strings and the big, airy synths and the drama that was going on. The raps were a little soft. The performances were there, but they should have been brought out more much drier in the mix. Overall, I liked it. It's well produced, I think. I think the mix needs to be toned down. The vocals have to come up, and be as large. Like the second to last rapper, his vocals sat really nice and kind of dry on top of the mix, where I think all of them should have been more drier, if you pardon my gooder English. Overall, the only thing that bothered me was that kick drum. It was too basketball sounding. And, when I was doing mixes, if Eric Sermon heard me put a kick out like that, he would have said, Tommy, you're still dreaming rock and roll. It needs to be a harder, clearer, snappier kick to really punch through. And you could have made it a little deeper with a little bit more body instead of they scooped some of the upper lows to get the low end on it. Easily thing to do is get a 50 hertz oscillator, gate it, trigger it off the original kick, and you've got a nice, deep 808 sounding kick that's really nothing more than a tone. But I like this. I just wish that the vocals would have been mixed better, drier, and a little bit more unification in the levels of the vocals from rapper to rapper.
All right, appreciate that, Tommy. Thank you very much. Let's go over to Steve, find out what he thought. Steve, what do you think of track number 2?
I agree with Tommy. No. First of all, I'd like to say hi, Shar. She's a friend. She's watching.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll bring people into
Shout out.
I'll bring people into this. I wish I could try something like this. I grew up with Parliament.
Yeah.
And I would love to cross something that's 30 years younger than me. You guys get real technical on the mix. I heard a saxophone a little bit in the very beginning I really liked. It sounded busy at times. At times it was really, really busy. I come from the school of less is more, and the human ear can only hear so much at a time before it gets confused and you think that's what's going on, I want to ask my sons about this song, so I'm saving it. Okay. And they're in their 20s, and they've been through the rap stage and now into mellowing, actually. So I want their take on this, and I know we don't have enough time in the show to go to Leesville, Louisiana, and grab them.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, but the bass, again, where is it? And the basketball description of the bass drum was, you're right on, Tom. I'm sending my songs to you guys from here on out. I'm not even going to mess around here. It's just I can't do it. You guys do it. You guys are intimidating me with your knowledge of mixing. With me, it's crap in, crap out, good in, good out. I don't need a whole lot, for what I run. It's just you guys are incredible with your knowledge of gates.
Well, thank you, sir. We're just showing off because we've got a newbie on the show.
Well, I got to tell you, that's you got to understand, Steve. That's why I host the show. I don't do any of the reviews because they know more than I do as well.
Can you make me a co-host instead of a panelist?
There you go. You got it. Next time you'll sit up here in the co-host seat. Okay.
But
Ian,
I would love to be able to play keyboards like that and be able to MIDI as much and as triggering and all that. My stuff's very simple. And everybody that I bring around me when I play, and I just keep it simple. Plug in, you play your track, you go home.
Yeah, and I understand. I completely understand. All right, Ian, what do you think of track number 2?
There was something about this I really liked. I mean, this is my bag for music listening. I have listened to a lot of this stuff through people that I have known and spent time with. And yeah, there was something about it I did like. I mean, it was a bit repetitive. It did go on. There wasn't a lot of dynamic changes. This is the thing that this track lacked for me was a dynamical change. There was a sort of chorusy sort of part in there which didn't really go anywhere. Needed to sort of lift in places. I mean, I loved the idea, as Tom was saying, about the sort of Celtic R's underneath mixed with the sort of hard vocal rap style. It worked. But it needed to break. It needed to be different. It needed to lift. It had a sort of a slight Eminem quality to me. I mean, I'm saying that because Eminem's probably one of the better sort of rap artists that I do know. But there was something about this I really did like. It does need some work. I mean, It's little things like they put in the sound effect of the gun clicking when they sort of mention guns, and lyrics like, you know, put your guns down and pick up a pen. There was some strong ideas going on, but there was a message, and I couldn't get that message. As Tom said, the vocals weren't up there. There was one rapper towards the end who sounded great, and his vocals were sitting nicely, and I could hear what he was saying. I think that was his line that I just quoted. But the rest of them were down, and they need to come up, and they need to balance better. And again, where was the bass? I mean, that needed some sort of bass line to sort of sit on that. It was nice with all the atmospheric synths and stuff like that, but I don't think there was even a bass line. I think it was just absent from the party.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Ian, could that be the mastering? Just out of curiosity, I'm just figuring out mastering with limiters and all. I'm taking my time. I'm worried more about playing my playing ability, but could that be the mastering?
Because no, I mean you can't lose an instrument that well in mastering, if that makes sense. I mean, if it's there, the bass bass will be sitting in around a similar sort of EQ to the kick drum in the similar ranges, and the kick drum's there, as we've all said. You know, unless it's really sub bass that none of us can hear. But I mean, I don't think there is a bass there, to be quite
keyboard
simple.
bass.
Yeah, it just didn't see. It seemed empty. I couldn't hear any sort of bass going on.
The bottom end was
Go on.
Go ahead, Ian. I'm sorry.
No, carry on, Tom.
The bottom end seemed to be generated by a collective bottom end of everything. And it sort of just settled into a cohesive sort of flow. I agree with you, Ian. I really didn't hear a distinct boom, boom, boom bass line.
Yeah, I mean, there was some nice, very low-end pads going on with the sort of synths and strings and stuff like that, which filled out some of that. But it needed a bass line. A groove, because the drums they had a good groove to them, they had a good bounce, and you sort of you were bobbing your head along in the first sort of minute of the song, but it needed the bass to carry that.
All right, appreciate that, Ian. Thank you guys very much. Let's introduce the track. The track in this particular case is called Sea of Roses by a group called Realistic Sound. Realistic Sound with Sea of Roses. We appreciate their sending that in to MSI. And again, if you're an indie artist out there, want to get your track reviewed by our panelists, very easy to do. Head over to MusicSceneInvestigation.com. Click on the Submit a Song button. You can sign up there and submit your music. Very simple. Just follow those guidelines we place down at the bottom of the page. If it's over 5 minutes, it's very rare that we even put it on. So keep it under 5 minutes. Keep it radio friendly. All right, gentlemen, we have one more track for today. Now, see, Steve, this is where you get put in the front row on the spot.
I take notes.
Okay. Well, you're good. You're doing fine, by the way.
You're bobbing your head above water excellently, and I think it's round 7, and you've got 4 of the rounds under the belt already.
Yeah, well, you even sound like you know for about 5 years, you know.
All right, gentlemen, let's go ahead and listen to track number 3, if you would. Here it is, folks, track number 3 on today's MSI.
Roar is
And with a whisper on the wind, you're here again. And it seems like it will never come again. It's on some other road to avoid the pain. But it wants to be still with a subtle and soft refrain. And the whisper on the wind, you're here again.
And you have song number 3 right there. So let's go to Steve first, find out what he thought. Steve, what did you think of track number 3?
Well, when it first started out, I thought, oh, it's the same thing as the last thing I heard. But it wasn't. It was better. Sorry, it was better. The one thing I'd have changed, it's not that I didn't like it, but I would have changed, is I would have changed the right hand on the hi-hat. See, this is my technical musical part coming out of me. Instead of 16th notes pounding away, I would have thought quarter notes would have been just as effective, if not more. Did he swear? Did I hear him swear in that?
It's possible. Sometimes these things get by me.
I'm from the Red Skelton school. If you have to cuss or you have to cuss to get your point across, it's, I don't know, just the way I was brought up, I guess. Do they dance to this, or do they put a show onto this? That makes a big difference on how this is pulled off. I can't see it being a dance tune as much as I can see it being a really good production, live. Vocals could come up a bit. The bass was stronger, but it wasn't the right, what's the word I'm looking for, guys? Frequency? The right
tone.
Depth. But it was there. You could hear it that time, but it wasn't, The end. I just as I was finished writing notes, the end came up. The crossfade. It was well arranged, the way they went from one genre almost to a, Steely Dan thing. I don't know what to call it. It had that guitar sound. Was that a flange? Was that a chorus? I don't know, but the guitar sound with a little bit of distortion, which it shocked me at the end. It actually took me from 50% of liking it to 70% of liking it.
All right, very cool, very cool. All right, thank you very much, Steve. Appreciate that. Ian, what did you think of track number 3?
It's Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, the Travelling Wilburys. The Travelling Wilburys. Not done as well as it could be, in my opinion. I mean, the biggest thing that struck me with this was the drums. Overly quantized, overly MIDI sounding. There was no groove to this track. It just didn't make you bob your head. It was so methodical and just didn't groove. And the bass line locked in with that. I actually didn't mind the tone of the bass. It's probably the only bass line we've had all night, which was nice. Nice to hear one bass player actually turn up for this track, which is unusual because they're normally drunk under a bar somewhere. All right, Steve. I mean, the vocals were too wet. The lead guitars were too wet. There was some good performances going on and some good ideas. But to me, it was just cliche Bob Dylan, Tom Petty. And then there was that outro. What happened? Sounds like they recorded an instrumental version and a vocal version, then decided to tag the end of the instrumental version on to the vocal version, and it was just big click, and this sort of thing comes in. And there was a harmonizer or something on that guitar. I'm sure it was. It sounded like they were sort of playing sort of a harmonizer up in the third or something like that.
Yes.
It didn't sound right. Overall, I mean, yeah, there's a song there. It needs a lot of work. Get a real drummer in, or at least, don't quantize your MIDI so much. Give it some groove. Let it swing a little bit. Back off the reverbs. Give everything its place. It was just all a little bit forced.
All right, well, that makes perfect sense. I appreciate that, Ian. Just got to let you know our connection with Steve has dropped in and out a couple of times as we've gone through this. So, I've been working to get him back online with us and everything.
I'm back.
Good. I'm glad to see you. All right, Tommy, what do you think of track 3?
Definitely the biggest problem I had with the track was the tempo. I think if they sped it up, even only in another 5-6 BPMs, a groove would have developed. It could probably go another 10 BPMs and give it a more swing feel, and it would sound better. Definitely swimming in reverbs, another basketball court kick drum. The bass was there, but of course, you see, reverbs are there to make things large and add a dimensionality in an imaginary space. When you start putting the same reverb on different instruments or too many reverbs together, you get all these dimensions colliding, and you need Isaac Newton or Einstein to figure it out. That's what was happening here. It was dueling reverbs. There was, I think, some really nice playing, and I believe some really cool guitar sounds coming around that I would have liked to have heard drier and brought up more in the front. Everything was pretty much a wash with like somebody had drawn a curtain of reverb over it. So that plus the slow tempo just really brought me down. It was something else. Oh yeah, like Ian said, it had like 3 endings. There was one like at 2 minutes, and then one at like 4 and change, and then they brought in that last bit of guitar solo, which I think was unnecessary. They could have ended out with the chorus and brought this in sped it up. If they sped it up, they probably could have kept that last little bit of the outro in there, and it wouldn't have bothered me. But as it was too long, too slow, too wet, too late, too long, toodaloo.
Was it too long, Tom?
It was 5 minutes and 39 seconds. I'm surprised you put it in there. Tisk.
I know you are.
It does. Yeah, it's broken the rules a little bit, that one.
Rules are made to be broken. That's all I'm going to say on that. So, but don't push it.
My Uncle Vinny used to say heads were made to be broken.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. All right, gentlemen.
And you're the judge of this, are you, Rich?
No,
which rules can be broken and which ones can't? Is that how it works now?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. All right, let me introduce that song to you, everyone. The song was called Whisper on the Wind. It was by Dennis James. Dennis James with Whisper on the Wind. Thanks a lot, Dennis, for sending that track in to Music Scene Investigation. Again, if you want to get your music reviewed by our panelists, very easy to do. Go to musicandsceneinvestigation.com and click that Submit a Song button. Very easy to do. All right, gentlemen, you have a task left to do. Steve, this is where the surprise comes in for you. Every week, we ask our panelists to choose a song of the week out of the 3 songs they just heard, and this week's no different. So I'll leave it to you guys to make a decision on what song you believe should be Song of the Week.
I'll go first on this. Even though it had its problems, I will go with number 2.
I've got nowhere beyond a doubt to agree with Tom. I think they established the most, or to me, showed the most talent on the night. I think there's a lot of good things going on there. With a bit of work, that could be a great track.
All right, Steve.
You're all daft. Number 3.
I think that was by far the quickest jury we had in regards to having a song of the week selected. So number 2 it is. Song of the week is Realistic Sounds, Sea of Roses, here on MSI. Now, Steve, we appreciate the fact that you came in with us, man, on such short notice. I know you've never done this before, but, man, you did a great job.
Well, yes, you did, Steve. You have for a bass player, you have a surprising grasp of music.
Thank you.
It's Steve. Steve.
Yes.
Did you hear about the drummer that locked his keys in his car?
Somewhere. No, go ahead.
He had to break a window. He had to break a window to let the bass player out.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, I remember. That.
I've left my
told that
keys
2
out.
weeks ago.
I've locked myself inside my car before.
As I was saying.
All right, Steve, thanks for being with us, man. Really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone out there. Appreciate you being with us, too. Sorry that we had the technical difficulty which delayed the start of the show. Well, we got things back on track. Had a great group of music or of songs on the show today, and we appreciate the fact that they sent those in. Join us again next week on the show when Ian will tell us who's going to be our guest panelist.
Oh, I will. I looked at that earlier, and I've now forgotten, so I'm checking the website.
I love it when I can put him on his spot.
Of course it is. It's going to be Jiguma, Neil Porter, our basically our artist of the year.
All right. Well,
2011.
I look forward to talking with Neil because I have not had the chance to do so. So join us next week when we'll be with Neil Porter. Right now we're going to play out with A Sea of Roses by Realistic Sounds, our song of the week on this week's MSI. Enjoy, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you all.
I'm seeing red like a sea of roses. These guys ain't real, all I see is poses. I'm about to lose it. These guys are really getting confused with the fake guys and who really do shit. It's a hype on the road these days, G. People have to roll with the knife for their safety. Who's to blame for this game of aim and miss? People aim for the fame and end up as fake G. Some say you're not a G if you don't rock Nike, or your trainers don't have a tick or 3 straps, and they think that they're raw cause they roll at night. But deep down they're not down for the fight, and they think that their gang's more important than school, so they only go to school to link with the man. Then bunk off school cause they think they're school. They target innocent people at random. They're wasted talent. Some could have been footballers or artists, but they started smoking, taking drugs, violence, promoting thugs on the street cause they thought that they random. It might sound random, but it's all life on the street. People roll with a knife just to eat cause they're hungry. I don't mean feeding their tummy. It's all explained through the mic and the beat. Seeing red like a sea of roses. These guys ain't real, all I see is poses. I'm about to lose it. These guys are really getting confused with the fake guys and who really do shit. It's a hype on the road these days, G. People have to roll with the knife for their safety. Who's to blame for this game of aim and miss? People aim for the fame and end up as fake G. It's dark on the road, cuz man trying to move to the light. Gotta focus, I can't get left behind like I was racing a lotus. I've got bearability, I can't just hope for a place. I've gotta win this race. I'm first in the game, when I'm first in the game, gotta make cases first in the game. Stop man cursing my name, cause I spit fire, man wanna try and bring first in my flame. I just want what I deserve from the game, and it's more like the first in the fame. But I see red like a sea of roses, because pricks wanna try and oppose this. 1 minute, the snakes wanna roll with us, the next minute, they're trying to hold us up. What's going on in this life? This hype, they're knives and guns and knives. Seeing red like a sea of roses. These guys ain't real, all I see is poses. I'm about to lose it. These guys are really getting confused with the fake guys and who really do shit. It's a hype on the road these days, G. People have to roll with the knife for their safety. Who's to blame for this game of aim and miss? People aim for the fame and end up as fake G.
Yo, up in the streets where you might get moved up, pretty bad bruised up. If you're a loser, I speak the truth. I know lies in my rhymes, burn up the mic like he's Freddy Krueger. Guys feeling super cause they roll with a shooter. You been drive-bys in a petrol scooter. Ain't got no chance in the end of a flop, in my opinion. That's the life of a loser. If you ain't got the brains, then get the grace. Wait for the rest of your life, you wanna be a loser. or a painter, or a labourer. Them jobs there don't earn you the paper, so fix up. Think what you want in life, or want a nice car, your kids in a sexy wife. Look, I know in life things may seem wrong, but there's nothing stopping you from making them right.
I see it red like a sea of roses. These guys ain't real, all I see is poses. I'm about to lose it. These guys are really getting confused with the fake guys and who really do shit. It's a hype on the road these days, G. People have to roll with the knife for their safety. Who's to blame for this game of aim and miss? People aim for the fame and end up as fake
All these Brits on roll want a big reputation. They're killing all our brothers and shooting up our nation. The government don't mind. Car, we're never on the news cause they want us on the grind in prison. So we waste all of our time. Fuck, investigating black on black crime. They rather see us die. Ethnic cleansing. Youths think about rep before they think about life. Think about the mother whose son just died. Karma comes around, I bet his boys by her side. Now it's better to see those tears in our eyes and they're coming for you with revenge on their mind. That's the endless cycle. We can't get by. Put the guns down, pick up a pen and just ride. Be a man with your fist, not a boy with a knife. The only thing that's proven is the moles on time.
I'm seeing red like a sea of roses. These guys ain't real, all I see is poses. I'm about to lose it. These guys are really getting confused with the fake guys and who really do shit. It's a hype on the road these days, G. People have to roll with a knife for their safety. Who's to blame for this game of aim and miss? People aim for the fame and end up as fake G's.